Today I'm chatting to Maddy, who not long ago had her wedding at Glenbosch with her closest friends and family. Her wedding was so much fun and it looked like it was straight out of a magazine. Maddy, welcome to the first episode of How Do I Do I Do. Thank you for being my guest.
How exciting.
Yeah. So tell us what you do for a living and when you got married.
Wonderful. My name's Maddy. I run a business called Middle Ground Creative, which supply custom window finishings to the Albury, Wodonga and surrounds region. I had studied interior decoration and design and then worked in Melbourne for 12 years and now offering that same service to what is now my local community. Cool. We got married in March at Glenbosch this year, which was just such a magical day. We think about that so fondly.
Yeah.
And we have a 3-year-old Charlie who is just such a joy.
Yeah, that's so exciting. You had really such a fun wedding, and I thought it'll be nice for all the brides that's getting into planning to hear how you chose your wedding style and what little things you did to make it special.
Yeah, sure. We really wanted to focus on shaping a fun day for us, a fun day for our guests. A lot of who were coming up from Melbourne and travelling up for the day, so we wanted to make sure it was really enjoyable. So for me, the priority was getting our particular photographer. That for me was the first stage. I contacted them straight away once we were talking about getting married and made sure that they were available in the time frame that I wanted to get married. So they were my non-negotiable. So I booked that in first. And then from there, everything just sort of fell into place. I wanted to find a nice venue that I felt quite comfortable in, aesthetically pleasing, which is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
So, but also in budget, because budget did play a big part in our wedding. So I'm pretty sure we had started talking quite quickly, came and checked it out, and I emailed you on the drive out of the venue to say that we wanted to book it in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everything just sort of fell into place in a really fun way, but the focus was on creating something quite fun and enjoyable for everyone, and that was like a really good reflection of us.
Yeah.
It was really important to both Andrew and I.
Talking about photos, they were amazing.
Yes.
I couldn't believe captured everything so perfectly. How did you go about choosing vendors? Did you just have your must-haves and everything else just fell into place? And what advice do you have around choosing vendors?
So Be Here Be Now, who were our photographers, they were incredible.
Yep.
They had done 2 of our friends' weddings.
Yep.
So we just knew straight away that they did a gorgeous job. They aligned with what we wanted out of our vendors. They were quite relaxed. They focused on being quite present in the day and really sort of focusing on the couple and their enjoyment of the day. And their photos are just incredible. So they were a non-negotiable. I booked them in. I am also quite a picky person. Yeah. I'm not going to deny that. So I wanted to make sure that I was picking vendors that I was confident that they were going to do the result that I wanted. Yeah. So it was fine-tooth combing that selection. Once I knew that I had vendors that I was confident in the result they were going to do, we then sort of shaped the budget and what that looked like together to make that suit our day. So
you pretty much picked your 3 main must-haves, and then everything else you just shaped into your budget.
Yeah, that's it. So definitely had the photographer. Definitely needed a particular venue.
Yeah.
And then the flowers are going to be quite a prominent part of that, but everyone else just sort of fell into place to sort of suit and sculpted a particular look that we wanted. But I was willing to sort of shift the aesthetic and sculpt that to suit a budget that I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
I didn't want that budget to blow out simply because I wanted something to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Because the wedding could have been the biggest thing ever. So I just, wanted to try and sort of rein that back and be quite realistic about what that looked like.
Yeah, and with starting a business, you also need, to keep budget in mind.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. But not only that, but for me, it just, I know weddings can blow out quite quickly.
Yeah.
And as a couple, we just didn't feel like we needed to spend so much on what is an incredible day, a magical day, and a day that we're not going to do again.
Yeah.
But realistically, it is 1 or 2 days of your lifetime.
Yeah.
And we wanted to feel like make sure the budget reflected that and our values on that.
Yeah, I don't think your wedding looked budget at all. No, it was really good. So talking about budget and the dress, tell me a little bit more about, did you stay in budget? Obviously, you decided to make your own dress, which just such a statement piece. How did you choose your style of your dress? Because there's kind of 3 ways you can go about it. You can go really trendy, you can go traditional, or you can go statement piece. So what tips do you have around that?
Well, firstly with budget, I'm quite lucky that I am a creative chook. I'm willing to give something a go and will be quite realistic about what my abilities are. I did want to make my own dress simply because I wasn't prepared to spend the money that some dresses cost these days. I wanted quite a big statement piece, which usually comes with a big budget. I figured I would give that a go. I had a vision in mind. I had a photo that I'd saved many, many years ago of this girl in this big tulle blush pink dress, and the sunlight was shining through it and it was off the shoulder and very magical, and it was gorgeous, and I just pictured sort of running down fields in this big dress. So that's where I started. So that's where we've got all the tulle. But from there it was just being really realistic with what I could achieve. I knew I wouldn't be able to create a very intricate bodice or a sleeve or anything like that. So that's where we landed here. And for me, I just found that really lovely balance between a statement piece, something that was fun, but also something that I could move in, something I could lift my arms in, something I could dance in, feel really comfortable all day. That was really important to me. Love dancing. I'm not going to compromise on that. So I think that was really important. Just finding something that you feel really good in all day, feel like you're going to have the most fun night you can. And feel really beautiful in. So I loved that balance between having the open shoulders and the open arms, having that strapless look with what is quite a heavy, full visual dress.
Yeah, I loved it. If I had to do my wedding over, I would invite less guests. We had 150 guests.
Oh, wow.
So if I had to do it over, I would just invite the closest and not the have-tos. So is there anything you would do differently? Talk us about through that.
So I think we had maybe 55 guests, which was quite an intimate day, and we loved it. Call me brutal, but we knew from the get-go that we were just going to invite our closest family and friends. We knew quite quickly that if you started to extend that the numbers do blow out, and we wanted it to be a really intimate day. We wanted to make sure that we were just surrounding ourselves with love and fun and joy and nothing more than that, and also make sure that you actually had the time to see everybody and connect with everybody and all that kind of stuff. So we were really happy to keep our numbers quite low. It also meant that the budget stayed down as well. I was really happy that we committed to that from the get-go. We didn't let the pressure of expectation of others sort of apply to our wedding.
Yeah.
This was our day and we were willing to sort of hold strong on that, and I'm really glad that we did, because I think the end result was something very intimate. We had such a fun time connecting with every one of our guests. It also meant that we had time to relax, we had time to actually eat the food, we had time to dance, we had time to enjoy the photos and slow down. So having kept it quite small and intimate meant that we could achieve everything that we wanted to out of the day and make something really special. So
Yeah. I think that is a big difference between big weddings and more intimate weddings.
Yeah.
By the time you've said hello to everyone, 3 hours is gone.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Good.
For sure.
So, Tara, you had lots of personal touches, lots of personality in your wedding. Tell us about how you incorporated your personality and your partner's personality into the wedding.
Sure. Straight away, we knew we were going to strip a lot of the traditions that we didn't feel like aligned with us, weren't a reflection of Andrew and I. So I think having taken those away, so that was things like the walking down the aisle, the cake cutting, what else did we strip? We didn't have a bridal party. We didn't throw flowers, sort of none of that.
Yeah.
It kind of meant that we had room to include a few other little elements, which we really enjoyed. I wanted to start the day. We had gone to another friend's wedding and they had started with wines and drinks beforehand, and they had welcomed everyone as they walked in, and we loved that because we just felt like you were then entering the ceremony quite relaxed. So we wanted to recreate that. We had wine and drinks to start with. We were welcoming everyone. We had music playing, and then it wasn't until we actually felt ready and relaxed that we started the ceremony.
Yeah.
And that was so special. Having done that quite casually, it meant that I could change what direction I was standing because the wind was blowing in the wrong way and all that kind of stuff. So I loved that. We didn't have wedding rings. So instead we had created a bangle which will have our wedding date engraved on it, and that was presented to Charlie as an heirloom that she'll receive as a representation of our family's love. So we really loved that.
Yeah, that's special.
And just sort of fun elements in the photography, cake cutting in the forest, little things like that, which was really special and a great reflection of us.
Yeah.
So, and the colour. I wanted to introduce colour because it was just going to be a fun party vibe. I just kept saying that we were having a big party, so I wanted to keep it as
It
sort
did
of fun.
really feel like just a big party.
Yeah.
It was so good. Let's get back to the cake cutting in the forest, because that was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
I don't even know where you got this beautiful forest, and it was just you and Andrew cutting the cake with Charlie. She was there.
Not for the cake cutting.
Okay. So I think it's such a special thing to do little things. You're getting married to this person and you almost don't see them on your wedding, and I love that the two of you went and cut the cake in the forest. It was just, it's special, so special.
I was talking to the photographers about what we wanted to do and how we were going to get photos before the day to sort of get as much of that out of the way as possible, make sure that we'd spent as much time at the wedding as we could. And their concern straight away was that the sun was going to be too high and too hot through March. And I'd said to them, well, I've got a magic forest that I want to go to, so that'll tick that box. And it was absolutely stunning. So I had organised someone to come with us, and we all brought a rug and a table and chairs. I made a cake, which I was piping that morning in my dress in our cottage. And I just thought this visual was going to be just so much fun and just something really fantastic. And we loved it. It was actually a time for Andrew and I to just sit down, take a breather, eat something. So we ate our cake and just have a bit of fun with it. It kind of meant that we had this very relaxed vibe, going into more intimate photos that were taken in the forest. It meant that we were really relaxed and ready to sort of give our all to that. So that was really special. I love those photos so much.
I've seen couples take a private first dance, which is also really cool. I've seen them just do private canapes, but the cake cutting was, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Cool. So if we can just do a summary or a timeline run through for brides that's, in the middle of planning their wedding, how did your timeline look for a cocktail style fun wedding?
Yes. So on top of the cocktail style, we also, like I mentioned, wanted to make sure that we had our photos taken beforehand. And the way that I made sure to lay out the day was in a way that I felt my most relaxed. So that for me was a really big focus, was trying to make sure that everything was sort of relaxed, everything was thought through, because I can quite quickly leave a lot of stuff to last minute and feel quite rushed. So I wanted to plan out the day with as much sort of padding as possible. So we had got ready in the morning, and that was here in this lovely bridal suite. So that was great. Andrew and I then got ready together in our cottage. For us, getting ready together is a part of it every day, so we just didn't feel like it needed to be in any other way. He is the one that makes sure that I get ready on time, so I needed him there. So we got dressed together in our cottages. We then had a moment with our dog Lucy out in the fields. We took some photos with her, which was really sweet. Charlie was supposed to be a part of that, but her naps just didn't align with this time of day, and that backfired. And I was really proud of myself that I was willing to go, this isn't working, let's move on, send her home for a nap, we'll find some time to get some photos later on. So that was really good, because they would have been horrible.
And stressful for you
stressful
anyway.
For me.
It's
I
not
would have
nice
felt
if your
so
toddler's
stressful.
upset. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me it was sort of reminding myself that today needs to be as calm as possible and as enjoying a word? No.
Enjoyable?
As enjoyable as possible. So making that decision was really handy. Cool. So we had photos outside. We then quickly finished piping that cake, jumped in the car, went off to the forest. That was interesting because we definitely went the wrong way, but we got there in the end. And those photos were just... That was just so special, being able to do that. So that probably did... I was running a little bit late. So instead of just going through town and taking some more photos, we decided to scrap that and just come back to the venue. Everyone had arrived. We'd organised a bus to go and collect everybody. Because like I said, people were travelling up to our day. So... They all had accommodation in sort of nearby towns. We organised a bus to go and collect everyone with a focus of, again, making sure everyone had the most enjoyment out of their day as possible. And so they were all here. We welcomed everybody. Lots of fun. We had a guitarist and soloist singing, which was really special. Drinks coming out. That was really lovely being able to say hi to everybody. We then had the ceremony, which was fairly short and sweet, but very much sort of streamlined to, again, only the things that we felt were important to us. We stripped a lot of the wedding. There are so many steps in a ceremony. There's like 20 different options that you can include. Stripped all of that. Pretty much just had our vows and sort of that was kind of it, and the actual legal requirements. We had our vow to Charlie, our vow to each other, an introduction of us as a couple, and then we left it at that because that's really all we felt that we needed. And so ceremony was short and sweet, and then had a cocktail hour and entrees and canapes, all just on the lawn, which was really lovely. Took some more photos. And then went around to go to the main area where we had our entrees. And the music that's where our DJ was set up. So that was all there. And And yeah, I think the night just kind of progressed quite naturally. We knew that we were having our cocktail hour. We knew that we needed to get some speeches in at some point, and then dancing was a priority.
Yeah.
So, but I just wanted to keep it as relaxed as possible. I had a girlfriend come up to me and say, you know, when are you doing speeches? I said, no, whenever we feel like it. Like, whenever we're
When
ready.
the time comes.
When the time comes, we all feel like we've had enough food. Like, well, it'll come. And then, just dance the rest of the night away. So
that's good.
That was really good.
You
And
definitely looked like a very relaxed bride, which is so nice.
Which is really funny because I'm not necessarily that as a person.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of myself for embracing as much of that as possible, because I knew that quite quickly the day could go very fast.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be as present as possible. When you're spending, you know, near to $30,000 on a day, you really want to make sure that you're as present as possible and soaking up as much of it as possible. So I was really glad to be able to do that. Had a costume change because you got to get the dancing legs out. And then ended the night back at the cottages with just some of our closest friends, and that was a really lovely cherry on top. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, I really love the style of it really felt like your party.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I personally, my wedding went too quick because I was this needs to happen.
Yes.
And I think if you just know that everything won't go perfect and you can embrace the time of life, something will happen, then it definitely makes you more relaxed.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. So if you had to give your top tips for wedding planning, what will you tell brides to really not miss?
Yes. For me, it is having fun with the day, shaping that around you as a couple and having as much fun as possible. Really being present in the day, making sure that if you need to slip in a couple of moments to be able to stop and actually take a breather and be present, to put them in the itinerary, make sure that they're there and that you spend that time to really absorb it, and to shape a day around you and not what others expect of you, not what parents expect of you, not what society expects of you. Just make something that you feel really happy with, and that is a representation of you as a couple, because at the end of the day, you're just going to love looking back on that and reflecting back on that day and have that just so special in your heart. So I think that's really important.
Good, thank you. I think that's really good tips. I would probably, having learned it the hard way, give the same tips to someone. But thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
And How Do I Do?
Yeah.
And it was really a pleasure to have you here again in the bridal suite.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.